Hello everyone and welcome to Stony Cosplay. In this video we'll be making a cloth tape body form for cosplay construction. This will take about 5 hours to make the skin and a few more hours to get it ready for costuming. Make sure you have plenty of tape as you don't want to run out towards the end. To help keep the model calm, explain the process before you begin. These EVA soles will be used later in the build. Cling wrap stops the tape from sticking to the model. Don't wrap it too tight as it needs to follow the model's contours. To avoid creating creases, apply the tape in short lengths, starting at one end and letting the tape find its own line. Try to keep these pieces horizontal and make sure they overlap for strength. Don't make the chest area too tight or your model may have trouble breathing. Work on the back and front evenly to make sure that the tape cannot pull away from the model's body. Make a mark on the belly button as a reference point for later. When working on the pelvis, make sure the model is standing comfortably and evenly. Once the cling wrap is in place, build a tape framework that follows the main contours. Fill in the exposed areas but leave the crotch uncovered. This will be finished later. Use smaller pieces of tape to pick up the contours around the front and back of the knee. Overlap the tape under the foam to make sure it is firmly attached. With the feet covered, it is now important that the model moves around as little as possible. When working around the shoulders, have the model hold their arms out when working on the armpit, and their arms by their side when working on the rest of the shoulder. Make sure the shoulders have plenty of strength as this is where the most movement occurs. On this build I've made tape mittens for the hands. Alternately, you can use a pair of gloves. Building the cling wrap around the head is tricky, so don't be disheartened if it takes several attempts. Make sure the model is relaxed and holding their head in a natural position. Be very gentle when working around the neck and don't wrap the tape too tight. By using different colours, it's easy to see if any areas have been missed. Running the second layer perpendicular to the first layer will give it greater strength. You can give your model some relief at this point by releasing the arms. Reference lines are useful on the center lines, joints, and body features. Alignment marks are very useful when stitching the skin back together later. Cut the skin slowly and be very careful that you don't cut the model or their clothing. Temporary tabs across the cuts will allow the skin to be removed quickly once it is done. Short straws in each corner of the mouth will keep the breathing hole in place. Use small pieces of tape to pick up the contours and be very gentle when working around the eyes. You will likely need to raise your voice a little when speaking to the model. Keep them informed of everything that you are doing to avoid them from panicking. If the skin does not slip off easily, you may need to extend some of the cuts. And of course, once the skin is removed, take a few moments to enjoy the model's relief. Use small pieces of tape and be careful to preserve the contours. If the cuts are straight, you can hold the seam on the fold, otherwise lay it flat. Check regularly to make sure the marks on the cut are aligned. Select a filler material that's appropriate to your build. Check that the filler hasn't become loose while you are working. Work your way up the spine, filling as you go. A temporary patch will make it easier to add more filler later. Be careful that your ramming rod does not puncture the skin. Reinforcing the stitching will extend the life of the body form. Reapply the marks as you go so that you don't lose the line. Thanks everyone for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this video. Special thanks to my sister for helping, and my niece for being such a great model.